Kishma on the Dreamer in You show. I'm so excited that you joined once again. We have a powerhouse, no other than Dr. Helen. I loved her. I remember one time we were on the phone, and I'm telling you, I felt the presence of the Lord so strong as she was giving her testimony. I was like, yes, you have to come on to this network and share what the Lord has delivered you from. There are people all around the world that needs healing and that need activation of God's word manifested in their life. I'm telling you, if you are in your house right now in the living room, you better get a prayer shawl, because I'm telling you, you better get a layout sheet, because I'm telling you, the presence of the Lord is going to truly take over on tonight. So welcome, Dr. Helen. All the way from Texas. Yes. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, I'm excited to have you on tonight. Before we begin tonight, let us know a little bit of who you are, what you're doing right now in ministry.
My name is Dr. Helen Aguocha. I am a psychologist by profession and an apostle by purpose. And I am the co-founder of Olam Zion International Global Ministries and Missions by way of Texas, Nigeria. I have churches over there, and I have different organizations related to ministry. I'm the founder of Heavenly Hair Ministries. That's where I give free wigs all over the world to anybody who has a debilitating disease. I started that 25 years ago, and I started out just giving free wigs to anyone who had cancer. You know, and then it just evolved. I have a branch in Africa, and my home base is in Texas. Now we do any type of disease that causes hair loss, and so I've been doing that for a while. You know, it started through my experience. I was a social worker for many years, and I just knew that, look, I have a store, you know, a full-scale store that I've had for 23 years, and they would walk into the store, and I just knew that, look, they were taking treatments, and I could just see it all over them. They was trying to decide, should I buy medicine, should I buy gas, should I, you know, pay utilities, and I just started giving them away. And then I said, God, I said, if you sending these people to me, there are more people out there that need help. I said, if you give me a way to help them, I'll help them. And in that night, in a dream, in a night vision, God gave me Heavenly Hair, because we care. And so I've been doing that for 25 years, and it evolved over the years. We get corporate funding and different things to make it possible. So it doesn't matter. Whatever walk of life, whatever street you find yourself on, walking up, or whatever corner you're standing on, we'll help you. Just contact us, and then, you know, we have so many things that we do. And we have Heavenly Hair Divine Diner. That's where I am known for my cooking. And I have a YouTube channel. Yeah, it's called I Love Food Series, Ministry in a Meal. And I share the word and I cook. And so it's been very successful. So I'm excited about that as we do that. And we have the trailer, you know, the Heavenly Hair Divine Diner on wheels. And so we cook and serve the community. I'm also the overseer and founder of a community feeding program where even during the pandemic, we fed over 100 children every day. We still do it every day. And so and it's called Child for Champions. And so we do that. So it's a lot, you know, but that's just part of it that I do. And so I'm excited, and I'm so humbled by how God can just take somebody, just anybody that has a yes in their spirit, and just fulfill His divine will in the earth.
You have named so many different things that I know there's other things that you did not list. How did you even begin to start? Like, did you start with one thing and then you begin to unravel everything, or you should do everything one time?
It starts with a yes. When you give God a divine yes and trust Him, you know, a lot of times where we make the mistake, especially being the remnant of God, because I believe that's really what dispensation we're in, that God wants to minister to the remnant and get them ready. See, we can't delay. We can't just take time, getting ready. It's time for the remnant to be ready.
That's good.
And so one of the things he's been speaking to me about the difference between life and living, because a lot of times Christians don't know the difference. We're so gung-ho and we're so, driven about making a living. And God said to me, he said, making a living and having a living is not life. Wow. He said, I came that you have life and have that more abundantly. John 10:10. He said, but y'all are so wrapped up. Even my remnant is being distracted because we're so busy trying to make a living. He said, there are people that are rich and suicidal. Wow. There are people that got money right now in their bank account, but they're depressed. Wow. And he said, until the remnant understand that I'm the only one that can bring life, you can make a living and never have peace. I know people that can buy a bed, but don't have peace to rest in it. And God said, my remnant must know the difference in this end time, what I'm doing. I came that you may have life and not just make a living. And we don't know the difference, and that's what God wants us to be, in sync with his divine plan and purpose related to us being, the salt of the earth, the light of the world, and without knowing that you can exist and you can experience living and still not have life. Wow. And so that's what one of the things that I'm dealing with, because God has blessed me so much. My testimony, and I have a product called Black Diamond Sensation, but that was derived out of the Word of God. I got intercessors that's been praying for me since 2007 when I started I'm Zion International Ministries. Wow. And so God had me to put them in place, and they pray twice a day, 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. every day without fail, because where he was sending me to, because I had a vision when I was 19 that he was sending me into Africa to do deliverance, and of course I got ministries over there, and I'm a deliverance apostle, and so so he had me to set that in place. And they pray without fail. They're more consistent and more reliable than the post office. They do not shut down. They do not close. And they have to, because one thing about true apostles and true anointed vessels of God, they attract warfare. The witches are coming if you're anointed. The warlocks are coming if you're anointed. And so because of that, that's why God had me put them in place. So one of the intercessors began to talk about in 2015, when she would pray for me, she said, Apostle, she said, God is saying that you are a carbonado. And I was like, what is that? And I don't know what that is. And she said, I don't either. She said, I'm going to look it up. And she looked it up, and it means black diamond. And so I took that by divine inspiration. God gave me a word concerning the nature, the attributes, the character of what a black diamond is. And so, I just took it to heart, and I did a whole teaching series, and that was like in maybe 2000, the year 2000. Well, fast forward to 2024, and I went through an attack 2 years ago. And as we speaking now, it wasn't the first time I had a near-death experience. I had one in 2009 where I went into preeclampsia. I was pregnant, and the child I was carrying did die. I brought him home on a Thursday. He died in my arms on a Friday, and I brought him home to live. They sent him home with pneumonia, and they didn't catch it. And God just kept telling me, I was an evangelist then, traveling all over the country, and God said, he gave me a word. He said, it takes both rain and sunshine to make a rainbow. He said, but my promises are still intact. He said, I'm going to give you double for your trouble and triple for your trials. He said, something is going to occur. He said, but I have already strengthened you and prepared you. So that was it. Right, that happened. So I had a near-death experience then. I stayed in the hospital 6 weeks, and that was because everything shut down. Everything, it was just, one of those experiences, attacks of death. And so God healed me, of course. And then in 2022, out of nowhere, I got attacked again, and I nearly died. I had a neurological malfunction, they said, and I lost vision in both eyes, and they said I had glaucoma. And matter of fact, I just got a pinhole of vision in this eye, and I can see a little out of this eye. But I lost my ability to walk. I only been walking for a year. I couldn't even walk. It was like I was a drunk woman. But I knew that the devil had did it. And I knew that my God was going to check him. I want the church to know that I don't care what the devil bring, God got to check me. And so during that season, the doctors, I went to 8 different doctors, 4 neurological doctors. I traveled all the way up to Dallas and to Fort Worth, seeing neurologists, and they kept saying, we don't know what's wrong with you. You didn't have a stroke. You know, we just know, and I lost my ability to speak. And I know this is a gift from God. And I couldn't even talk. I couldn't pronounce certain words. I couldn't walk. So I stayed immobile. And I live in a 3-level house, and so my main part of the house is upstairs. I couldn't even go down the stairs. When I would have meeting with my leaders, they would come to the house and I would have to give them divine instructions on how to carry out and carry the ministry and keep the work going from my bed. And so, you know, I was just going to the doctors, and God spoke to me. I turned my face to the wall, and I said, God, the devil has done this. I said, I know that you are going to answer, and I know you're going to raise me up. Yes. And, you know, when you fight for so long, you get tired. Yes. And but one thing I knew, I couldn't afford to get tired. I couldn't afford to lay there. Because I knew it was an assignment to render me incapacitated and to cause me to be immobile. I was making too much progress in the kingdom. And so God spoke to me. I began to pray, and I said, God, you got to help me. And that night, he speaks to me in night visions. I don't dream every day. You know, some people, they eat goulash and dream. I don't dream like that. When God speaks to me, he's trying to get my attention. And so God said to me, he said, I'm going to give you a formula. And he did. And that was the black diamond sensation. It's organic. It's all natural. And he gave me, he said, now, you're going to have to pray intensely. Because people think it's the ingredients. That's part of it. But the main benefit of black diamond sensation is the prayer and intercession. Calling on the name of Jehovah Jireh, the great healer. And so he gave me that, and he told me how to do it, and that was birthed out. And then, like 8 months later, I wrote the book, Black Diamond Sensation, and it deals with the components. It deals with the nature and attributes of what a black diamond is. A black diamond is the hardest substance in the universe. It doesn't come from the earth like white diamonds. It comes from a cataclysmic explosion, a supernova event, out of this world. And God said, I want you to understand what you made of, and it's called carbonata. You're stronger than you know. Because a lot of times we don't realize what's in us. And God had to allow me to walk through that, where I know he didn't cause it, the devil did it, but God allowed it. And I know when he allows us to go through anything, it's for our good. And I know he's going to get the glory out of it. And that's what he's done. I'm truly a miracle. And so I am a miracle. And so one of the things God told me, he said, a carbonata is durable. It's a black diamond. What makes it so unique, even though it's not as popular as white diamonds, because it absorbs light. And then it gives off a shine, it absorbs the light. And then it has the ability to reflect the light. And God said, that's what you are. He said, you got to absorb all of me. It can't be half of me. It can't be a fourth of me. It can't be a third of me. He said, where I'm trying to release in the earth, it's going to require all of thee. And so God allowed me to understand that it being durable, being impervious, being indomitable, being without an excuse or regret, just doing what we have to do for the glory of God. God told me, he said, you walked in a lot of places. And some of us out there who really got a genuine call, we experience much rejection.
Oh.
That's what we label it, much rejection. But God told me during this period, He said, what y'all were labeling rejection is actually ejection. He said, because to be ejected means it's a force that throws you out of a place, puts you out of a place. And it's such a resistance that it forces you to move on. It forces you to be what you're supposed to be, what God intended from the first. And so we label it as rejection, inadequate, inappropriate, not favorable, not accepted, and a lot of times we harbor that. But God wants His people to know you ain't never been rejected. I allow that to go. I allow that to happen. Whatever it is that disturbed your peace, whatever the devil sent to stop you in your tracks, God said you got to understand the power and the glory rests on you being ejected. I had to get you in your next. Because we get so comfortable, we'll stay where we don't belong. It don't want us, and we don't want it. But we don't have no power to get out of it. And so God allowed us to experience negative things to really eject us in violent force, a violent throwing out. He'll put you out. And I thank God for that revelation, because so many times we are hurt because we love people. We want to be used of God. We want people to have the best of God, and we don't know how to take that. We think it's an injury. We think it's a demotion. But actually it's a promotion. Come on, somebody. It's a promotion in God. And so I thank God for ejecting me into places that I wouldn't even have the mindset to walk in or dare to believe Him for. And so you got to thank all your haters. You got to thank every demonic participator that intended to stop you, intended to destroy you. But God told me while they destroy it, you getting ready to be enjoying. You going to enjoy some things. And a lot of times we don't understand that God allows exposure to bring closure. Whatever God revealed, He gonna heal. And we don't understand that because we think that it's just, supposed to be like that. But God has let me know through this work. He told me, He said, your foundation, that's what the black diamond is about, the foundation in which we are built. That's why we are so durable and strong. That's why we absorb the light and reflect the light. That's why we come about and we exist because of pressure. Everybody can't operate and function and live in pressure. But those who got the nature of the true and living God, honey, we could take the pressure. And not only can we take pressure, we can give it. Somebody know that you're giving hell pressure right now. Somebody say, I'm pressure after. You got to know when you're pressure. And God said it's because of that. He said, I liken you, your whole spirit, your whole nature, the remnant, God's chosen vessels in this end time work. He said, I liken y'all unto wise people that heard my sayings and did what I told you to do. He said, even though y'all been under attack, He said the rain came, the floods came, the wind beat you down. He said, but yet you stayed firm in your conviction and in your call. The foundation remained. It didn't cause you to waver. It hasn't caused you to stagger. In fact, because Christ is our foundation, we move on to another place in Him. And we allow Him to get the glory out of every situation. And that's what I'm so thankful for God about in this hour and season. People come and people go. But God doesn't forsake it. He doesn't abandon. He don't forget about us. He don't leave us. He don't betray us. He don't deceive us. One thing about it, if you look at the word believe, you got to be, first of all. He's calling us to be, and we want to do. It goes back to us being just, convinced that we are here to make a living. Are you hearing me? You got to be that. Before we do that, be, and then you got leave. The only difference between the word that you will see live in that word, in believe, and it's an E that's separating the L-I-V-E, and that E is what we expect. It's what we expect from God. And if you look before that, after B, you will see the word lie. Because Satan was a liar from the beginning.
Yes,
The
he was.
devil is a liar, and he's a murderer from the beginning. So he comes to steal, kill, and destroy the dreams of God, the hope of God's people, the faith of God's people. And so you remove the lie and you have your expectation in the center, you got to live. And God wants us to live and not die, to declare the glorious works of God. You're making me excited, doctor. You're making me excited. Yeah. He wants us to live. Surely we should not all die, but we should live to declare the works of God. And this is a work. This is what God is doing, Dr. Kishma. And I'm excited because I don't even, you probably know, but God spoke to me this morning in prayer. And God said, Dr. Kishma, Dr. George, that's what he focused on, your last name. He said that name in the Hebrew means one who works the earth. For opening up doors for so many. Because so many people that don't know the will and the ways of God, they work the room. But your name means one who works the earth. And that's why we are coming from the north, south, east, and west, because of what you said yes to God for. And it means, that's in the Hebrew. In the Greek, it means one who works the earth. Also, it means to form, an earth worker. And that's what you're doing. That's what God is using you to do. One man plants, another man waters, but God gonna get the increase out of everything that you do. And I'm gonna thank you for your labor of love. And I want to encourage the remnant to keep on keeping on, because God has made you out of some substance that is built to last. And it ain't no demon in hell can stop what God has started. In Jesus' name.
Apostle. Helen, let's give it up for Apostle. Bring it forward. Thank you so much. For everyone listening all around the world, I'm your host, Kishma George. Thank you so much for tuning in. Meet us next Saturday, same place, same time. And remember, it is time for you, as a woman of God, say, believe, believe, believe. Stay tuned. See you next time.
Thank you so much.
That's the name. We gotta roll it up and use that play. Come on, thank you. Oh, it's awesome. Oh, we gotta take off your phone.
Just